Most filmmakers don't stumble into the job. They know they want to make films from a very early age. That was certainly the case with director Colin Levy.
I was very into film. Even at age 14, 15, I was starting to make shorts, in high school.
And now he makes his living in Hollywood. That career path started right here in Savannah at SCAD. He graduated a decade ago and this year returns to screen his short film Skywatch at the 2020 SCAD Savannah Film Festival. Levy says his time at SCAD gave him an advantage not available at many other film schools.
Putting teams together, shooting on the red camera, getting a pretty professional experience, but having, your priorities in the right order so that you can really make your projects your your number one priority in life when you're in film school. And that's definitely what I did, and that allowed me to just execute at this much higher level than I could have dreamed prior to attending SCAD. And I've definitely tried to make every project bigger and better than the last.
The journey back to Savannah has been a long and fulfilling one. In 2010, Levy was given the Savannah Film Commission Award for his short film En Route. After graduating from SCAD, he moved to the West Coast and began a year-long residency at Pixar Animation Studios. His college reel cut through the submissions to Pixar.
The work that I did at SCAD, I still show people. I'm still proud of.
And now Levy wants everyone to see Skywatch. It's about two teen boys who hack into a drone delivery service to pull a prank on their neighbor and find themselves in a life or death conspiracy. Skywatch may be a short film, but it has a big future.
The whole goal for this particular project was to create a compelling proof of concept, a teaser for something larger. I've made a bunch of short films that stand alone, prior to this, but I wanted to have a strategy for this one that was a little bit different. And so it really is just like the first act. It gets you excited about this near future sci-fi world and these characters, and kind of gets them in trouble, gets the story going, but leaves you wanting more, kind of on a cliffhanger moment. That strategy has, it seems, so far paid off. So we were able to pitch a bigger version of the story right after we released the short online the end of last year. And we're really fortunate that it's been picked up as a TV series for NBC's upcoming or new streaming platform, Peacock. And it's just in development now. So I'm adapting basically a feature screenplay that I've written for television now. So writing a pilot, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, it's not guaranteed that this is gonna be a show, but we are on track, and very excited about the team that we've assembled to develop it.
And that team is made up of people he's known since his days at SCAD.
My three closest collaborators on this project were the same folks who I put together my first ambitious project at SCAD. And somehow, even though now we're all in LA, we are still working together. And it's been really amazing to track each other's growth and careers, all of which have blossomed in different ways. And we're all doing the thing that we loved and that we found that we loved at school. So Andrei Danielevich, my producer, I met him at SCAD, and my short is a very ambitious on the visual effects side of things. Sandro Blattner is, he studied visual effects at SCAD. My sound designer, Morgan Johnson, was a SCAD student, and all really well established at this point. Myself less so in the industry, and it's because of these projects in college that we forged those relationships. And I have to say that's probably the most important thing that came out of my time at SCAD.
The two young actors who star in Skywatch are impressive in their roles, but Levy says casting them was nerve-wracking.
Really lucked out on the casting side for sure. This story takes place, or the story is about, this a couple of really good friends who are like, 15, 16 years old, and it is hard to find fantastic and established, 16-year-old actors. And I can't believe we got these two just incredibly talented kids, Uriah Shelton and Zach Callison. And Zach, um, it's so funny. I didn't watch Steven Universe prior to meeting Zach, but he is the voice of Steven on that show. And Uriah has been the lead in a lot of um, uh, in features. He's got roles in television. I mean, both of them have so much more experience than I do in this business, and they both were fantastic to work with. We found them actually just about a week before we shot, so we had a lot of working on putting this project together for 6 months, for close to a year, and I still didn't know who was going to play these these parts, and it all hinges on them. So it felt very last minute.
Another element of surprise in Skywatch comes at the very end. We know this is a spoiler, but Colin doesn't mind because he says knowing it will bring more eyes to his film.
We were fortunate enough to get Jude Law in a cameo role. So he's on screen in my short film for about 7 seconds. And the process of getting to that point was many years in the making. The whole short film, we didn't have that role cast. It was, for the longest time, it was just a storyboard at the end. It's this dramatic reveal of our villain character, and we knew it would be a great place for sort of a cameo, just something that could give that reveal more of an impactful kind of jaw-dropping quality to it. Was just dreaming about who could we actually. I mean, we don't have money. None of us have reputation. Like, how are we going to get to an A-lister? And it was, I think, luck more than anything else. But we were able to kind of pass this link along, a private link to the short, through friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. Like, literally, probably 7 or 8 degrees of freedom, or degrees of separation, to get to Jude Law. But he hit play on the short, and he liked it enough to offer to help us out. And it still blows my mind that he was as generous as he was.
Levy and his producer flew to London to shoot Law's cameo. The entire process took 1 hour, and it was something he will never forget.
I have this thought every once in a while, but even if that is the pinnacle of my career, I'll always be proud.
And that brings us back to the 2020 SCAD Savannah Film Festival, where Skywatch screened and Levy was asked to be a guest on the Professional Shorts Directors Roundtable. We asked him how a movie-loving kid from the Northeast chose to come to SCAD in the first place.
I actually had my heart set on NYU for a long time, and I was accepted and got a scholarship even to NYU Tisch. It's one of the best film schools in the country. And I was walking to, I remember being so indecisive. And I was vacillating between, do I go to SCAD? Do I go to NYU? NYU had this prestige, but SCAD, I loved animation. I loved visual effects. I loved film. It had a great program in all 3 of those things. And NYU was more just film, and the animation program really suffered. They didn't have any visual effects at all. And I knew I liked all 3 of those things. And I literally walked to the mailbox in my neighborhood with basically the response to the acceptance letters or whatever. It's like when you finally put in your, like, I'm going here, but I literally had one for NYU and one for SCAD, and I had to make that decision at the mailbox, and I dropped SCAD and I went back with the NYU one, and never looked back.
Levy isn't looking back, and we look forward to seeing his work on the big screen for years to come.